There's eyes and ears for everything that is being presented out here. There's a market for everything. You know what I'm saying? There's different ways that people will basically engage in whatever it is that they're actually doing or what they think they're looking for. Now, there's different movements out here. You know, you got the spiritual community, subconscious community, materialistic, scientific. You got religions. You got nothingness movements. I talk a lot about nothing being outside of you. There's always pros to things like that. When you're in a balanced perspective, you can actually leave little room for victim mode or judgment when it comes to things like this. But there's different movements where, you know, when you're observing a certain reality and you change into some other type of perspective or a different way of thinking, this is why I say that you're basically going in from one simulation to another, but you killed or deaded that one reality that you were in. This is why when people are living a certain way and they go into a religion like Christianity or, you know, Jehovah's Witness, they call themselves a born again, you know, Christian or born again follower of Christ or whatnot, because they were lived a certain life before and they deaded that reality. It's no different than when you're in a relationship with a female or a guy. Like if you're a girl, you say, I deaded that girl or I deaded that relationship. That means you let that go. But what do? Right? If you're not aware, right, you're always going to date the same person just in a different body. So this is why it's important to change yourself first before you get into a different relationship. Because whatever you saw about that person in the relationship that you hated is basically because of you, you know, or because of whatever traumas you may have done that you may say it's not my fault. But you have to actually work through those things before you get into another relationship for that reason, because you'll just keep attracting the same person. So that's why when I see certain people, right, and they go from one religion, let's say, and now they're in spirituality, they're going into another religion because they haven't left that religious mindset. It's just like, you know, you got these people who are in the nothingness movement. If you're looking at it from an imbalanced perspective, you actually create nihilism. And there's actually certain people who are in the comment sections of certain YouTubers that listen to saying they should run for president. You know what I'm saying? We need a leader like you. And these are the things that kind of get me thinking. I'm like, wow, you know, this is religious mindset thinking. Why are we placing these people higher than yourself? You know what I'm saying? These people are actually equal to you. They're no different than you are. They're just doing something that you're not doing. Something that you don't know you can do. In actuality, you're more powerful because you're the observer. Everything outside of you is projected from within you. I could be happy for somebody, right? And I could be happy in a sense where that's a version of me succeeding or progressing. If I wish bad upon that person, that means I'm pushing out an energy to the universe, whatever that may mean to you, that I don't consent to abundance or success. That's why it's important to look outside of yourself and say, wow, I'm glad that this person is succeeding, and genuinely from the heart space be happy with it. But don't do it because you want favorable results for yourself, because that's inauthentic. See, that's why when you're actually looking at it from the heart space, you're going to look at the world from your superpower, which is neutrality. Because your heart space is earth, and earth is nature. Nature is natural. Nature is neutral. You could be aware of certain things, but you decide what you want to invest your time and energy into, what you're going to put your currency to, your attention. So a lot of the times when you start to hear certain people who are talking about nothingness out here and whatnot, you start to hear people say, well, I'm getting vaccinated and you should too. You see, I don't have a problem with people who got vaccinated. I got friends who got vaccinated. I don't give a fuck. My sister got vaccinated. One of them. The other one's against it. But I'm not judging her. I'm not going to demonize her because she got it. That's her fucking problem. She got vaccinated. She votes. She does whatever the fuck she does that society deems appropriate for her to do. And I'm cool with that. I used to not be. I actually attacked her one day for it. Until I realized, I'm like, what the fuck am I doing, man? But then again, there's certain people who are saying, I'm going to get vaccinated and you should too, because it's inevitable. You know what I'm saying? And at the end of the day, they could do what they want with my body. They can't really hurt who I really am. See, I'm agreeing with that. There's a lot of validity to that. But however, it's the same concept where if you have a child, all right, that child is a piece of you. Do you say, do what you want with my child because you can't really hurt me? You brought that creation into this planet, just like you brought this entire reality that you're experiencing through this body. So you're experiencing your reality through this body. So if you're broke and you're aware that you're broke, but you can change that reality, what do? You just say it's inevitable, I'm broke because my family members were all broke and that's just how it is? Because the reason I even mentioned that and use that example is because they'll bring the Jesus example, acceptance and whatnot. What you do is you accept the reality that you're living and know that you created this fuckery and debauchery that you live in, right? But you're aware that you don't need to go to war outside yourself to change anything. You change from within yourself. And the way you perceive your reality, whatever point of view you have, you can empower that reality. However, this is why debating is debilitating. Because at the end of the day, when you debate somebody, you're empowering their reality too. In fact, you could be the Godhead of your reality by just being let's say if you have an organization like the UFC, you could be the Dana White rather than be one of the UFC fighters, right? The UFC fighters, you know what I'm saying? They go in there, they got the cooler position to go fight, show off their moves. And if they win, they get to show themselves off through the build up, through the fight, the shit talking. But whose job is it to settle that up? The promoter. Whose job is it to actually get the spectators and the people to buy the pay-per-views? The promoters, the owners of the organization are the ones that win. You get what I'm saying? But this is why you even got fighters now starting to stand up to Dana White saying they're not getting paid enough. They're the ones putting their necks out on the line. Where do you put yourself at though? Do you just cry, right? Or you do what Khabib did and actually open up your own fucking organization, leave at the top of your game, right? Because Khabib actually retired at fucking 30-0. I believe it's 30. Yeah, 30-0. And he actually opened up Eagle FC. Now he's a promoter, right? Did you ever hear Khabib saying he wasn't getting paid enough? No, but what he did, right, is he did what he needed to do in the position that he was in. Because at first, Dana White was overlooking him. They didn't look at him as being marketable, right? They didn't look at him as being marketable because he didn't speak English that well and whatnot. But what did he do? He won to the point where it was inevitable that he had to fight the guy that would get him the popularity that he has now, and that's Conor McGregor. And this is why I made the video about people serve as gateways and vortexes for you. You get what I'm saying? And this is what Khabib did. And Khabib, there was a huge build-up to that fight. A lot of shit talking. Right? But in that position, what do? Do you just say, oh, I'm going to go through acceptance and that's it? No. In that position, you engage and you stand out, right? But then, let's say if you're trying to get somewhere in life, like you are now, you would have to go through the sacrifices, which is what a guy like Khabib did. Go through the sacrifices of the training, the blood, sweat, and tears he put into staying number one, or the pressure of having to stay at the top of his game to be number one, right? And then on top of that, endure the mental warfare that he had to go through with Conor McGregor until he became popular and rich enough to actually open up his own organization and become a promoter, right? But it don't matter at the end of the day. It don't matter who wins in the octagon. The promoter and the owners make a lot of money the more eyes they could get on the sport. The build up to the fight, the drama is actually what's getting the eyes on the sport. This is why Conor McGregor became so popular, because he created a lot of drama. He had a lot of shit talking. He did the mental warfare the right way. You get what I'm saying? And everything over here is mental warfare. But what do? I'm going to get vaccinated because it's inevitable. Do whatever you want with my body. Hell fucking no. This is where sheep are created, I believe. You know what I'm saying? In actuality, this has been documented through history. Well, at least what they tell you. Like even in concentration camps, they added fluoride to the water to keep the people more docile. You know what I'm saying? So what do? If you're broke, what do? You stay broke? Or do you change your reality? You don't go blaming anybody for your reality. You don't go say it's inevitable. This is how, the system is designed. No, but you see rich people have a way to get around the system to even pay less taxes than poor people. Poor people pay more taxes because they're not even aware of how to pay less taxes. Because they're not aware how to even make more money. See, rich people are aware how to make more money, but they're also aware of how to bypass the system, or they'll pay the right people to help them bypass the system if they don't know how to do it. That's energy. So how much energy do you have to invest into your creativity to help you get around the reality that you actually created and evolve or dissolve in this system? Dissolving in this system would be to get into a reality, all right, another rabbit hole such as a meta, right, and forget that you even existed here. Because this is what I believe these things that are put into you are going to be. I mean, look at dogs and cats. They put tracking devices on them. They put fucking microchips in them. And it's all done with an injection so easily too. And it's the size of a grain of rice. Now, they may not tell you that there's a tracking device, or there's a lot of theories behind it. I don't even get it. I don't know really about what's in it, but what I can tell you is that it's a way to keep you solidified into this reality to some extent. And now this new vaccine is going to be the one that solidifies you into a new world, a new reality, the new shift that we've all been talking about. But there's many societies that, ancient civilizations that have gone missing and we never knew anything about them, such as like who built the pyramids of Giza, right? Who built these great monoliths and megaliths? If you go to Peru and the Incas and all this, where are all those civilizations? To this day, we still don't know, right? But what happened? Could it just have been have just been where one's dissolved and one's just merged into a new reality? And we had ancient civilizations, like the whole Exodus story will tell you that they freed them from slavery. But did they really free them from slavery, or did they go from one physical slavery to a mental slavery and they thought they were actually free? But what they're doing is going into another form of slavery from unawareness. But the ones who stayed or didn't get freed were actually the ones that actually made it out of this fuckery that we're actually experiencing. Because now this is going to go into the I'm going to make another video on the blue lights that we see outside. You know what I'm saying? But then again, whatever theories you may hear about them, understand this. LED lights or smart lights have been introduced for over a decade. They've already been out in your environment. But why attention on them now? That's the whole thing. But I'll still get into it. Because the reason I even mentioned this is because now they're a significantly different color than what you would normally see them as. Back then, they used to be an orange